Welcome back to the Relationships Made Simple for Men podcast with me, Bryce Bauer. I'll be honest with you, I just recorded half of another episode and I just wasn't feeling it. So I went back to the drawing board. The way that I come up with topics is pretty intuitive. Like I don't get on ChatGPT and have it write me a script. I don't like that. I find it much easier to talk about things that are relevant in my life, experiences I'm having with Jenny, with my clients, or what I'm seeing out in the world. And to be honest, again, I've made it a point not to talk about politics because I know there can be big feelings attached and it might change other people's views of me. But as I was sitting here thinking about that, I was like, what am I doing? I'm trying to teach people to be authentic. And here's this one topic that I'm avoiding. It's totally fine that I've avoided it up until now, but I want to talk about what I want to talk about. And I don't have a boss and I can't get fired. So whatever, let's just get into it. The people that I see talking on the screen in this administration are the biggest liars, cowards, and assholes that I have ever seen. And they go against everything that I stand for. I'm not saying that they might not have an idea or a policy that helps the country in some way, either on purpose or accident, but the way that they spin the truth, the way that they talk, the way that they shield each other from responsibility drives me crazy. If I had to give someone a blueprint of exactly what not to do when speaking with others, I would just say, watch Donald Trump. If something good is said about him, he will inflate himself even further like a hot air balloon. And if something negative is said about him, it's immediate defense, attack, lie, or deflection. Always. He cannot handle an ounce of criticism. And if I were to take a guess as to why some people like him, it's because it makes them feel powerful. They wish they could talk like that. They wish they could get away with anything that they want. And it really has become a personality cult of narcissism. And how this segues into relationships is that it creates a very sharp divide. You are either on this side, and this is what you have to believe, or you're on that side, and this is what you have to believe. And Donald Trump has been able to divide the country with his rhetoric more than any other president in my lifetime. And I know that's not a ton of presidents, but we've never seen something like this. He posted a video of him flying a jet and dropping shit over cities. That's going in the record books. We should be disappointed anytime anyone does something like this, let alone a president. This new way of doing politics is splitting up families and friends and communities. And if you think I'm some woke liberal, you're wrong. I really try to look for the nuance in what the news is covering. I stay open-minded. I know it's not all black and white. I can agree with the decision even if I don't like the person making it. I try to be as logical and realistic as I possibly can. And for the third of the country who really supports this president and the handful of others that tend to lean that way, I really try to see what you're seeing, but that is getting harder and harder to do. And from my viewpoint, I'm paying attention to this person's character because their character and their values will dictate their behavior. Again, not saying that they can't make good decisions about what's best for our country, but ultimately, someone who is highly narcissistic is going to side with what's best for them, not you. They can even be with you to the very end, right before they pull the rug. If you wouldn't want someone like that as your dad, as your husband, as your grandfather, or partner in a business, I don't think we should want them as our president. I know we can't do anything about that right now. Let's at least acknowledge that this man and this administration is morally flawed in every way. And if you're on that side of things and you have a wife or family members or friends who are not, I'd highly suggest spending some time reflecting on their opinions and feelings about this administration so that you can empathize and understand, because there's a lot there. There's a lot of good reasons why people are upset, mad, sad, and borderline losing their minds. That's not a syndrome. That's a result of having reality twisted right in front of their eyes so many times. This is the relational move. If you can't do that, if you don't want to do that, if you don't see any problems with how things are going, if you can't admit to anything, you are in a cult and there's no way to reach you. You don't have to switch sides. You don't have to change your ideas about certain policies. You just have to acknowledge the contradictions, the lies, and the vitriol that this man is spewing out into the world on a daily basis. That's it. Now, for the people that are highly opposed to this administration, I think there's work for you to do here too. It's not to stop learning. It's not to stop speaking up. It's to stay grounded and balanced within yourself. This is the same way that you have to work with a narcissist, but on a bigger scale. They feed off of you losing your shit. They feed off your emotions. Stick to feelings and facts. And if it's not safe enough to go there with somebody, don't even bother. Go to people that you can trust, that can hold you in your experience. And then if you want to go back in the dojo of social media or having dialogue with others who disagree with you, that's fine, but don't lose yourself in the process. That doesn't help anybody. And only you know if you're truly losing your bearings. It's worth paying attention to. Reading the news every day might not be good for your soul. It might be time to take a break. It doesn't mean that you've given up. It doesn't mean that you're weak. It's just a lot to handle. Politics are interesting because it's this collective movement to creating higher and higher levels of well-being with real lives at stake, people's health, their finances, our different ideas and values about how we should operate in the world, laws. It's really everything. And as a single person, we can feel really powerless. I think about this sometimes when I'm looking up into the night sky and I'm like, I am so small and insignificant in this universe. How do we know a meteor couldn't come and wipe us out tomorrow? Or what if there is a world war that happens? Stuff like that is just so big that it helps to come back to the present, to me, to what I can see, hear, feel, touch, taste. I think that's something the world could use a lot more of. It doesn't mean that we put our heads in the sand and stop paying attention. It just gives us a chance to breathe again. And even though we're so powerless in big ways, we're also extremely powerful in big ways. Think about the impact that you have with others on a daily basis. Think about what you could create. You could create a partnership that is a model to all your friends and families. You could create loving, caring, inspirational children. You could build a community, even if it's small, that changes the world around you in meaningful ways. I don't know about you, but I find the more stressed I am, the more I worry about the bigger things that I have less control over, and I forget about the smaller things that I have a lot of control over. For instance, it's easier to read the news and complain about what's happening than to plan on eating healthy today, stretching, and meditating. For most people, the low-hanging fruit is to get on our phones and do nothing than it is to really take care of ourselves. And no matter which side of the aisle you're on, that's going to help. Well, I kind of rambled with this one today. At least, I don't know, it felt like that. Hopefully there was some wisdom in there. I'd suggest taking a few minutes now after this ends to sit, breathe, and be so that you can refocus on what really matters to you today and how you can show up better in your relationships. And then go out and do it. Have that conversation. Give that hug. Say, I love you. Try really empathizing and being curious about someone in your life, no matter what they think. This alone can change your life. It's really changed mine, and I love that I'm able to do it. If you want to join a men's group, jump on my website. I'm now on Instagram, Bryce Bauer Coaching, and I'll have another men's retreat happening in September here in Utah. That's all I got for today. I'll see you next week.